Okay, we are on Unit 13, and we're talking about quadratics in standard form. Today we are going to go through Notes F. And in Notes F, what we're going to do is we're going to remember what we did in vertex form, the last unit, and look at standard form, really comparing the two concepts. So when we look at the first problem here, we're going to go through, and it's in vertex form. So my first step is to identify the vertex. So here I know I'm going to go to the right 3, and I'm not going to move up or down. So that gives me, if I look at my graph, I go to the right 3, that gives me a vertex of 3, 0. Then I'm going to make a table, my XY, putting my vertex in the center. I'm going to go 2 smaller and 2 bigger. I'm going to use my calculator to substitute the x values into my original equation. So we're going to get our points that we can plot. There we go. Okay, then it asks us to solve an equation algebraically. So we're not going to worry about this, make a chart and solve. So when we solve this, we set y equals to 0. We're going to divide both sides by 2 so that my 2's cancel. So I have 0 equals x minus 3 squared. Take the square root of both sides. 0 equals to x minus 3. And we have x equals to 3. So what we can see is that, let's get a different color here. Let's do blue. We have x equals to 3 is our answer, our solution. And if I look at my graph, that is where my graph crosses the x-axis. Okay, so that was vertex form. So now if we look at standard form, to identify the vertex, first I have to find my axis of symmetry. X equals to negative b over 2a. Let's say a is 2, b is negative 12, and c is 18. So we have negative 12 over 2 times 2. So 12 over 4, which equals to 3. Then we need to substitute 3 into my original equation. And you get 0, so my vertex is 3, 0. I can then make a table. Two numbers smaller, 2 numbers greater. I'm going to plug those numbers into my original equation. 1, 8, 2, 2. We can graph it. And look, what we should start saying is, wow, we are actually, these two equations, we're getting the same exact graph. They're just written in different forms. So these equations here, right, in vertex form or in standard form here, they're the same thing, just written in different formats. So we're going to go down to number 3 here, which is solving the quadratic formula. So we have x equals to negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So we are going to plug in the information we know. all over 2 times a. Remember, we're going to calculate what's under our square root sign first. So I am going to calculate 144 minus 4 times 2 times 18, and that equals that equals to 0. So now I have x is equal to 12 plus or minus 0 over 4. Remember, when we get the 0, we only are going to have one solution. So x is equal to 12 divided by 4, which equals to 3. So we're going to zoom out here, and we can see that we have the same. X equals to 3 and x equals to 3.